Welcome everyone, my name is Briggs. This is my dad Brett here with the 200 Mile Pellet Stove, bringing you all, well, a pellet stove tips video. So today, my dad right here, we're gonna do something just a little bit different compared to our usual regimen of stove videos. And we're gonna be going over some old style pellet stoves, especially with the Breckwell models before US Stove bought them out, where they were built here, actually locally to us in Eugene, Oregon, correct?
Well, they're not close to us, but yeah,
They're
down in Eugene.
Close, kind of. But basically, yeah, my dad's going to go about this stove, kind of show you some tricks. So if you do have one of these stoves, you know, it could really help you guys out. Because these things back in the day, they were made with a lot of steel. And so even though these things are slowly phasing out, they are still around. And so that's what we want to do today. And well, Dad, I know you always got something to say. So why don't you jump on in?
I always got something to say. So, you know, this is a pretty quick video, so just stick with us. But again, like, thumbs up, and subscribe, and help us build the channel so we can help you, your friends, and your family. So, anyway, I got this ginormous comfort-built cast iron. Gosh darn it.
Here, we can switch spots. Here, get over here so you can go
It's
over
an
there.
HP 75C. You can look at that video too. If you like it, great. If you don't, okay, I get it. But my gosh, it weighs 320 pounds. I don't feel like moving it today. So this is the Breckwell. This is a P22. So the P22 and the P23 and the P24 are similar in a lot of aspects, mechanically, in my opinion. So if you have one of these stoves, a lot of times, if it was built in Oregon before US Stove acquired Breckwell, it will say National Steel Crafters on the label. So you can tell it's probably in the 90s, somewhere in there, guesstimate. So most of these stoves, now I'll just run through it real quick. Now when they had these stoves...
Whoa, real quick.
What?
Let me get the handheld so we can actually get really close.
Are we going to get close?
Yeah,
okay, just go grab the thing.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Stay with us, folks. All right, now I'm mobile. Let's
are we
go.
going?
Oh yeah, now I'm ready.
Welcome back to Pellet Stove TV. So this P22, now the older models, they had this gold accent because back in the day, so much was gold, furniture and all that stuff. You get it. I think you've seen it. So, and the newer models, it's mostly black. So if you have one of these models, it's older if it's got the gold. But if you don't like the gold, then you can take this door off and tape off the window and take high heat paint, and you can paint this black if you don't like it. So there you go. So I like the handle. The handle on the old ones, oh my gosh, right here is total steel. This was well made, and that obviously, follow my finger, son, it just clamps on here to the frame of the stove. Now the new ones, right over here, brings back to this latch part. It's like a piece of Wrigley's gum twisted. And do I love it? No, I don't. So this is an older one, and I like the way it was produced. So here, this burn pot, this is a two-piece burn pot. So this comes out like so, and this inner part should come out, I think. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? There it goes. Okay, so there it goes.
All right, well, it's a little older burn pot, but you know what? There's reasons why.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So if you have one of these stoves, great. If you're looking for one of these stoves, great. I'm going to kind of give you some tips and tricks about it. So the original stoves, the older ones, they would have a one-piece burn pot. It would be kind of like a dish. Now they have a two-piece, which you have the frame here and this inner part that actually comes in and out, which you would clean. So if you can't find a one-piece burn pot, you won't, because they don't make them anymore. You can do a two-piece. So you could take this off like so, and this is the air intake, and this is where the igniter goes. If you have an igniter on your stove, this one does, right here. And so you can put this back on. So it's really, really nice. So again, if you need a burn pot, you can get a two-piece, and that will work for most of the older Breckwell stoves. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to spin it. And again, see this here? This is gold. You can just take two screws off here, take that off, and you can paint it black. You paint it any color you want. But anyway, you can change it off. So over here, so this is kind of good, bad, and ugly. This is the original control panel. And I don't know what somebody did here. This is an older stove. Oh, well. So if you have one of these stoves, you own one and you love it, and this control board goes out, they do not make this anymore. The only way you can save your stove, if you love it, you would have to change this out with a 1 RPM digital control board with a wire harness and an auger motor. You could keep the 4 RPM auger motor, but I would go to a 1 RPM. And so what would that cost? Well, I'd probably guesstimate $500 to $600 in parts, plus labor to actually convert it over. Can you do it? Yeah. So anyway, if you're buying one used, make sure this thing at least works. But if you buy one used, get a super bargain, because if this board goes, there comes the money train. So I'm just giving you some tips there. So on the back of this unit, pretty basic back in the day. So I'll just get to the point. You got your power cord, got your vacuum switch that's on most all pellet stoves. This is the back of the control board. This is the convection room air fan that pushes the warm air out into your room. This is your auger motor, 4 RPM on this one. This is your exhaust motor. So you're going to have some wiring here, and you're going to have some snap discs in here as well. It's very simple, a 3-inch port. So you just turn it around. We took the back panel off so you could see everything in here. But the key thing is this. I think a lot of the P22s, P23s, P24s, there was a lot of steel in them, and I think they're pretty great. You know, the one thing about them, the most new stoves today have an automatic damper. They're set, you set it and forget it. This one and the P23 and P24 has a damper. So when you pull it out, more air, push it in, less air. So you have to find the sweet spot and leave it. Does it really give a vibrant burn? No. I think that the burn is all over the place, meaning that it's kind of like this. And the newer stoves are designed, technology has changed so much that you have a good yellow and white healthy flame that's just vibrant. And that's what you'll see in some of the newer stoves. But this still puts out a lot of heat, a P22, P23, P24, and yes, you can convert it from 4 RPM to a 1 RPM system, but roughly around $600. Guesstimate, don't hold me to it, but the parts are a little expensive, but you can still repair your stove. You just have to do the conversion, so we'll see in a few minutes.
Wait, real quick.
What?
Got some add-ons.
What add-ons?
Well, quick, show them that hopper, and I got one other thing.
I didn't get the hopper. I got all these screws and everything here. Okay, we'll just do it. Let's take off this. Boom. So here's the hopper. So Briggs has got a point. So right here, see if we can find it. Right here. Let's do the roly-poly. On this label here, see? National Steel Crafters of Oregon. Right here. So this is an older stove. So this is a 2-piece hopper, but look at how big this is and how easy it is to load. That's a pretty cool stove. Looks like this here is a little worn out. Not bad, but it just closes here. And it closes like this. And then you're good to go. To me, if you found one of these stoves that was actually working, in my opinion, and it had the old control board, $100 or less, in my opinion. Because down the road, if this control board goes, you'll have to go to a 1 RPM system, and that will cost you additional dollars. So be careful when you are out there shopping. What?
And real quick, I want you to kind of fill them in on how finicky these older Breckwell stoves can be when it comes to the ignition process. You want to talk about that a little bit? Just kind of give them a heads up.
Well, how they start?
Yeah, kind of like, you know, it could be a slow start, it could be fast, just all depends on the airflow and how it's installed.
Well, I think Briggs has got a great point, because Breckwells, to me, they distribute, on startup, they distribute the pellets slowly. And they just trickle in slow. It's a long startup process. And it is what it is. They're not, some of the other models out there, you can always give us comments, or ask advice, But a lot of other models, the pellets distribute on startup, quick, and all of a sudden, smoke ignition, quick. Technology has changed quite a bit. But with a Breckwell, when you look over here at this damper, if you have this all the way out, that's too much air. The pellets won't come out fast enough. That means that most likely that the fire is going to go out. If you have this all the way in, hardly any air, the pellets are going to pile up like a mountain, and it's going to smother out and go out. So when I talk about the sweet spot to Brett, this is what I've seen on most Breckwells. My finger, see this rod here? My finger, about that width, that should do it. That's a pretty good burn. And then once you set it, forget it, and let your Breckwell keep a running. So how's that, Briggs?
That's pretty good, but it also reminded me of one other thing.
What?
Well, since we always kind of worked on a lot of these Breckwells back in the day, that burn pot, like how important is it for that inner piece to still be in very good condition? Because if it starts wearing out, you know where that igniter hole is?
Yeah.
That gets misaligned. How many times have we seen that been an issue with these stoves?
It's a big issue. So here, with this, let's take this burn pot out. Let's see if it'll even come out. This here, I put these screws down. So this inner piece should come out.
It should, but if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world.
What happens here, you can see this corner down here is flush. This piece. Here is higher, higher, higher. And what happens over time, if you don't maintain it, that inner piece drops. And if it drops, the igniter won't line up with that hole right here. And so what you need to do is make sure that this is always coming out. But over time, expansion, contraction, whatever, these will get difficult to pull out and clean. Good golly, this is not even coming out.
Yep, you can see right there. At that point, it's almost worth it just to buy a whole new one.
This is where you get a hammer out. But you always want to make sure that your air holes are clear. Just use a handy-dandy tool, and we can help you with that too. But make sure everything's clear. But these air holes too. But this is not coming out. So you could probably go over. My gosh, Briggs, do we have anything that we just bang the heck out of this thing?
You want to
I
give
don't
it a
know.
try? The last one we worked on took a while.
My dad always said finesse, but I don't know. This one's not. There it is. Now, is that going to be user-friendly in your household? Heck no! So if this thing doesn't go back in nicely, buy yourself a two-piece burn pot, a newer one that goes in nicely. So here, I can't even get the thing back in. And this is not, this is ridiculous. Here, you can hit the corners. But once it gets to that point, buy a new burn pot, you get it, and put it back on, and there you go.
Oh yeah, imagine doing that every time you had to clean it.
No.
It just gets to a point.
No. I know that Briggs worked on a pellet stove a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't that fast. It got so warped, it was ridiculous. But we got it to a point where we'd get the customer by until the new one arrived, and then she was fine. So anyway, two-piece burn pot, just maintain it, and everything would be good.
Yeah, I think that's a good cover.
Yeah.
All right. All right, everyone. That's it. Hopefully you guys learned a few things about these older Breckwell stoves and older stoves in general. Just about some of the electronics, seeing if parts are still available, you know, what's worth your money, what's worth your time, and then also especially, you know, if you got an older stove, you may be faced with some of the warpage in the metal, i.e. that burn pot. Like,
That dang burn pot.
Oh yeah, I guess you.
But it's real.
You improved a little bit of your the blacksmithing skills, you know, with the iron strike, right? We're gonna get a torch and heat that up.
It's really, really fun. You know, these, as we continue on with more and more videos, you know, the other key thing, you know, the Breckwells, they're great in many aspects. And, you know, they are older school, which older school isn't that bad. But the key thing, if you have one, a Breckwell, or you are thinking about buying an older Breckwell, check out that control board that Briggs and I showed you, and do some research to make sure that other parts or replacement parts are available for that stove before you buy it. Because gosh darn, you know, it drives me nuts. You see these advertisements, maybe it's okay, I guess, but people have their pellet stove for sale. It'll say, great shape, worked great when we removed it. Ah! Check it out. Plug it in and make sure it works before you take it home. And the last thing, make sure the replacement parts are available from your local distributor. And there's a lot of great ones online, and we will share those with you on future videos. So, are we ready? Are we done?
I think so.
Let's wrap it up. And thanks for joining us on Pellet Stove TV. See you next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.